Hey guys, I'm off for Podcast Spot and welcome to week 4 of the 2018-2019 Premier League review. If you want a series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 1st and Sunday the 2nd of September 2018. Also next to the games are the times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific game, just go to the time next to the match and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Cardiff versus Arsenal. Arsenal took the lead 10 minutes into the game when Shkodran Mustafi put the Gunners ahead. Good header from the centre-back as a corner is put in the middle from Granit Xhaka, and the German gets free of his man and sent a bullet header into the back of the net. Cardiff will equalise just before half-time when they scored their first goal of the season. Comical defending from Arsenal as Granit Xhaka needlessly give the ball away in the middle. It's worked out wide and a ball was sent into the box, and there's a hint of luck as the ball dropped to Victor Camarasa, who lashed it home. But Arsenal retook the lead 15 minutes in the second half when Pierre Aubameyang opened his account for the season. A lovely goal as well as Mesut Ozil plays it forward to Alexandre Lacazette. His touch is a beautiful flick around the bend into the path of Aubameyang, who took a touch before curling an effort into the bottom corner from outside the box. But Cardiff will level it up again only 5 minutes later when Danny Ward got his first Premier League goal. Bit of a lucky goal as it comes from a free kick that was never a free kick, not in a million years, but again the defending has to be better as the ball was floated into the middle. Morrison headed it across goal and there was Ward unmarked, who placed a lovely header in via the post. But Arsenal took the lead for the third time 10 minutes from time when Alexandre Lacazette got the eventual winner. Lovely assist from the substitute Lucas Torreira, who looked good after coming off of the bench. A pretty much flawless performance from the little Argentine. Uruguayan. He's Uruguayan, isn't he? Yeah. Sorry. Torreira played it in the box for Lacazette. He turned his man on a dime and absolutely smashed it home at the near post. And that's how the game ended. Arsenal secured their first away win of the season and only their second league away win all year against a very sound Cardiff side. Poor Cardiff, man. Not scoring in the first 3 games. You finally score. Scrap that. You score 2 goals in 25 minutes. Yeah, but still you're going to lose the game. It's just, Emery finally did something that the Arsenal fans have been clamouring for as he played the 2 strikers together with Lacazette and Aubameyang, and it seemed to pay off. All they need to do now is get the formation right, and they are golden. They are golden brown and crispy. Cardiff did have a chance to nick a point as Morrison headed over basically an empty net as Cech was stranded, but Arsenal held on and picked up their second consecutive win. And we move on to Brighton versus Fulham. It was a pretty even contest for the opening 20 minutes, but Brighton got the perfect chance to take the lead in the 25th minute when they were given a penalty. Prime case of why forwards shouldn't really tackle in their own box. Brighton worked the ball down the right hand side, it arrived at the feet of Glenn Murray, and in comes Luciano Vietto, who came in with a silly tackle, and it was a clear penalty. Pascal Gross stepped up to take it, and it's a good penalty, headed right towards the bottom left corner, but Fulham keeper Marcus Bettinelli goes the right way and palmed it around for a corner. And Fulham would make them pay for the missed penalty just before half-time when they took the lead through Andre Schürrle. It was pretty much all Brighton, but against the run of play, Jean-Michel Seri was given too much time to pick out an amazing scoop past Andre Schürrle and the German finishers from close range. And Fulham doubled their lead 15 minutes in the second half when Alexander Mitrovic got his 4th of the season. Lewis Dunk with the mistake and Mitrovic charges into the penalty area. His first shot was saved by Matty Ryan, but he followed it up and slotted the rebound into the bottom left. But Brighton would get a goal back 5 minutes later when Glenn Murray reduced the deficit to 1. Anthony Knockout was at the strings of everything Brighton did, and he picked up a loose ball from a bad Fulham pass. He cut through the defence and teased up Murray, and the veteran made no mistake as he finished from 10 yards away. And Brighton would get the chance to level up when they were given their second penalty of the match. Another clear penalty for me, as in the box the ball is dropping down. Mitrovic brings it down with his arm, and the ref pointing to the spot. Glenn Murray stepped up to take this one and doesn't make the same mistake his teammate did as he slotted home for his second of the game. And that's how the game ended. Great second half showing from Brighton to come from 2 goals down to pick up a point. 2 really silly penalties for Fulham to give away, and who knows if Brighton converted the first one, it could have been a much different game. When Alexander Mitrovic scored his 4th goal in 3 games this season, it looked like Fulham were on course for back-to-back Premier League wins for the first time since 2014, but 2 second half goals from the veteran that is Glenn Murray made it so both teams came away with a point. And we move on to Watford versus Tottenham. One of these teams was going to lose their 100% start to the season, and it wasn't the best first half, with only a 1 shot on target in the entire first 45. But Tottenham took the lead 10 minutes in the second half when Abdoulaye Doucouré accidentally put the ball into his own net. It's one of the ugliest goals you're going to see this season. A ball was crossed into the box. You could hear Ben Foster yell as he was coming for it. He was going to catch it, but his defender didn't listen and headed it partially away. The ball came back to Lucas Moura on the right-hand side of the box. He pulled it back, and running in was Doucouré, who couldn't get out the way in time as it bounces off of his chest and trickles into the bottom corner. But Watford levelled it up in the 68th minute when El Capitano, Troy Deeney, got the goal. Good header from the captain as well as Jose Holebas swung in a free kick. Everyone moves around him, but Deeney just stays still and loses everyone by doing so, and he glances his header into the far corner. And Watford took the lead 5 minutes later when Craig Cathcart put the Hornets ahead. Corner put in at the box by Will Hughes. Dembele is supposed to be marking him, but it's just too easy for Cathcart to lose him. He doesn't even jump either, as he nodded into the top corner past Michel Vorm. And as the game ended, Watford still have their 100% start to the season, but I don't know why. I feel like this one might be the best win yet. I don't know why. Just put it out there. What a performance as well from the horse. The first half was dire, and then when Tottenham took the lead, you thought that was that. But I kid you not, as soon as Watford equalised, everyone knew they were going to take the lead. They were the better side for the last half an hour of the game and deserved the win. Kane was pretty much non-existent in this game apart from one good chance that he put over, but goals from their centre-back and their captain secured that Tottenham's 100% start would end and Watford's would roll on into the international break. And we move on to Manchester City versus Newcastle. It wouldn't take long to get going as only 7 minutes into the match Man City took the lead. It was gifted to them on a platter fit for a king as Jamal Lascelles played a very sloppy pass. In his final third, it was pounced on by Raheem Sterling, who instantly cut him from the left and finished with his right. But Newcastle would level it up on the half-hour mark when DeAndre Yedlin became the first American player to score in the Premier League since 2014. It was a well-worked goal as well as Kennedy plucked the ball down with a lovely first touch. He slid it to Salomon Rondon on the left-hand side of the box. He then rolled the ball across the penalty area. It's just begging for a touch, and it eventually got one, as running in like a steam train was DeAndre Yedlin, who smashed home from 8 yards. But Man City retook the lead in the 52nd minute when Kyle Walker got his first goal for the Citizens. Sergio Aguero was charging forward and the Newcastle defenders did well to close him down and deny him any space to shoot, but he rolled the ball back to Kyle Walker, who was about 30 yards away, and he struck a great shot low and hard into the bottom corner. And that's how the game ended. Positives for both teams to take away from this game, especially Newcastle, as for the second week in a row, they've played two of the big boys and gave their attackers a hard time. Guardiola's boys were forced with the task of breaking down a very compact Newcastle side, who were always set out to defend and hold on for a draw at the Etihad. They could have gone 2-up a few times as they missed clear-cut chances that Newcastle would punish and level it up. Ultimately, Newcastle's goal turned out to be their only shot on target in the 90, as Man City's unbeaten run carries on and Newcastle have picked up just 1 point in the first 4 games. And we move on to Leicester versus Liverpool. Liverpool opened the scoring on the 10-minute mark when Sadio Mane got his 4th goal of the season. Came as Andy Robertson just tanked his way down the left-hand side, charging to the byline before dragging the ball back inside the box. Mane's first touch is a bit off and Schmeichel should probably come and collect, but Mane reacts quickly to get to the loose ball and poke home. And Liverpool doubled their lead on the brink of half-time when Roberto Firmino opened his account for the season. Simple goal for the Liverpool man is James Milner. I always say James. Oh, I've got to stop doing that. Simple goal for Liverpool as James Milner whipped a corner in. Roberto Firmino lost his man and he had an unmarked header and he nodded into the bottom right corner. But Newcastle would be gifted a goal as Rachid Ghezal got his first goal for the Foxes. It's what every Liverpool fan was waiting for, a goal to be conceded and an Alisson mistake. And luckily they both came at the same time, so. The back pass was a bit wayward from Van Dijk and Alisson in this situation has just got to clear it, but he basically tries to Cruyff turn his man. Kelechi Iheanacho wins the ball, pulls it back to Ghezal, who took a touch and slotted home. Luckily it didn't cost us a win, so I'll let you off this time, Alisson. But next time, if you do that and we lose, I will find you and I will give you a stern talking to. And that's how the game ended. This is one of the worst Liverpool performances I've seen in a long time. They were being dominated in the second half and Leicester probably should have got something from this game. But to be fair, apart from the goal, that was the only real shot they had. The rest of them were from distance and most of them went over the bar. Liverpool will need to improve, especially for September, as they have possibly one of the toughest months of the season. They've got Chelsea again, they've got Tottenham, PSG and Napoli. They'll need to improve for after the international break as they take on the hardest challenge so far in Tottenham, but now they have won the first 4 games of a season for the first time in the Premier League era. And we move on to Burnley versus Manchester United. Man United took the lead in the 27th minute when Romelu Lukaku opened the scoring. Quite a simple goal for the visitors as Alexis Sanchez puts a great ball into the box and somehow Lukaku wriggles free, gets between 2 defenders and nods it past Joe Hart. And Man United doubled their lead just before half-time when Romelu Lukaku got his and United's second of the game. A really scrappy goal this one as Jesse Lingard hits a shot right into the stomach of Ben Mee. The ball bounces onto the head of Ashley Westwood and into the path of the big Belgian, who slotted home to double their lead. And Man United would get a perfect chance to wrap the game up in the 70th minute when they were given a penalty. Just a clumsy foul to give away as Aaron Lennon basically stands on the foot of Marcus Rashford and the ref pointed to the spot. Paul Pogba stepped up to take it, but Joe Hart goes the right way and dives low to his left to deny the Frenchman a 3rd penalty goal of the season. And Man United would have to play the final 20 minutes with 10 men as Marcus Rashford was shown a straight red card. What we like to call handbags. Rashford and Phil Bardsley looked to be at the centre of it all. He was only on the pitch for about 10 minutes, but it seems to be another case of the ghost headbutt that we saw twice last week. The motion of a headbutt, but not an actual headbutt. It's a silly red card considering what happened last week. You'd think players would learn. If you send Richarlison, and it was Jonathan Hogg who got the second yellow, who got the second red last week, you've got to give it to Rashford as well. And as the game ended, a comfortable win in the end for United, but it should have been so much more. Lukaku had a plethora of golden opportunities that he somehow missed. You could tell in this game that Burnley were extremely tired, with this being their 10th game of the season already, thanks to Europa League qualifiers. But now that they're out of that, I can see that being a good thing, as they can fully focus on domestic competitions. Could have been more for United, as I said, Lukaku squandering more, Pogba's missed penalty, but despite all that, United bounced back after 2 disappointing losses. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Southampton. It would take until the second half to get a first bit of action, as seconds into the second half, Danny Ings got his second of the season. Loads of seconds there, Jesus Christ. Cedric Suarez puts a ball into the area for Danny Ings, who latches onto it and poked it beyond Wayne Hennessy. And Southampton will get the perfect chance to double their lead 15 minutes later when they were given a penalty. Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets called out for a handball in the area, and the ref pointed to the spot. Charlie Austin stepped up to take it, but his penalty was poor and saved by Hennessy. But Southampton did double their lead in the 90th minute when Pierre-Emile Højbjerg wrapped the game up for the Saints. Palace were caught on the counter-attack as Højbjerg broke free. Hennessy was miles off his line, and Højbjerg had the ever easy task of rolling into the empty net. Rolling the ball, not himself. Yeah, that sounds... just rolls into the empty net himself. Whee! Oh, I'm extremely tired. And that's how the game ended. Southampton pick up their first win of the season. Big shout out to the Southampton stopper Alex McCarthy. Not only getting called up to the England squad, but showing exactly why. He was on fire today and almost single-handedly secured the points for Southampton. The win for the Saints gave Mark Hughes his first win at Selhurst Park in 6 games and condemned Palace to a 3rd consecutive league defeat. And we move on to Chelsea versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth were extremely resilient in the first half, not allowing Chelsea hardly any sight of goal. The pressure was building and building, and eventually in the 71st minute, Chelsea took a lead through substitute Pedro. Beauty, as well as the Spaniard exchanges passes with Olivier Giroud before drilling the ball into the bottom corner. And Chelsea wrapped the game up 5 minutes from time when Eden Hazard doubled the hosts' lead. Marcus Alonso with the assist as he played a pass through to Eden Hazard, and the Belgian drilled it. He just smashed it basically through Asmir Begovic and into the back of the net. And that's how the game ended. A well-deserved win for Chelsea, who were the better team pretty much from start to finish. As I mentioned, Bournemouth were resilient at the back, but it's extremely difficult to keep a clean sheet when you've got an on-fire Eden Hazard running at you constantly. Bournemouth have their first loss of the season, but the 100% start to the Sarri era rolls on at Stamford Bridge. And we move on to Everton versus Huddersfield. Huddersfield took the lead in the 35th minute when Philip Billing put the Terriers ahead. Came from a corner for the visitors, and it actually comes off of Everton's Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Billing was on hand to head it home following the flick. But the lead would last just 2 minutes as Everton levelled it up through Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Basically the same goal, but at the other end, as Lucas Digne on his first start for Everton whipped a ball into the box, and in came Calvert-Lewin to head it home. And as the game ended, the second half was pretty much a non-entity. It was dire. Everton had the best chance to win the game in the second half when Ademola Lookman put in a lovely cross that was just beyond Sigurdsson and Calvert-Lewin. But other than that, nada. Huddersfield will probably be the happier team with the point, but Everton won't mind as their unbeaten start to the season continues. But it's like 3 draws. So it doesn't really count, does it? And finally, we've got West Ham versus Wolves. It looked like it was going to end 0-0 with West Ham finally getting their first point of the season. But in the 93rd minute, Wolves snatched it away from West Ham to pick up their first win of the season. It was coming for Wolves as well. West Ham lose the ball in the middle of the pitch. Leo Bonatini played it to Adama Traore on the right hand side, who must have been sick of trying to assist as he charged forward and lashed the shot in at the near post for his first goal for his new club. And that's how the game ended as Wolves get their first win in the Premier League since 2012. Looking more and more bleak at the London Stadium heading into the international break. 0 wins out of 4, rooted to the bottom of the table, and the fixtures don't get easier for them. It was around this time last season where Frank de Boer was sacked as Palace manager, so could we see the first sacking of the season when we return? Probably. West Ham did have some good chances to take the lead when Marco Arnautovic and Mikel Antonio were both denied from Patricio, as Wolves get their first top-flight win since 2012. I've already said that, but I'll say it again. Wolves get their first top-flight win since 2012. Right, so that's all the games I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers. Starting off with the Premier League table. Top of top 5, and as you can see, Liverpool are at the top on goal difference after a win against Leicester. Chelsea the second team with a 100% start after beating Bournemouth. Watford are the final team and the most unlikely as they picked up a massive win against Tottenham. Manchester City are fourth after a win over Newcastle, and Tottenham make up the top 5 after their perfect start came to an end at Watford. Moving on to the bottom 5, and West Ham are still the only team yet to pick up a point following a late loss to Wolves. Burnley 19th after losing to Man United. Newcastle make up the relegation zone after being beat by the reigning champions. Huddersfield is 17th after drawing with Everton, and Cardiff make up the bottom 5 after a hard-fought loss against Arsenal. Moving on to top goal scorers, and as you can see, Sadio Mane and Alexander Mitrovic are joint first after both of them scored this week against Leicester and Brighton respectively, and they're both on 4 goals. Sergio Aguero is third on 3 goals and 1 assist, and Richarlison and Pedro make up the top 5, both being on 3. Right, so that's all the games I got for you this week. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back at 4 PM in 2 weeks' time for the next episode of the Premier League review. Yeah, no episode next week because of those darn international friendlies, so no Premier League games next week. To stay up to date about when we go live or upload a video, it would be best to follow us on Twitter. The link to that is in the description, or it's at @portionofsport_. If you missed last week's episode, that'll be popping up on your screen now, along with a link to the channel so you can subscribe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to. I've been Mark from Portion of Sport, and I will see you soon.